Sign number 1. You fear making mistakes. Children need reassurance that mistakes are simply part of learning. When caregivers respond with criticism, indifference, or by withdrawing their support, the child develops a deep fear of failure. Over time, mistakes become linked with shame and rejection. As adults, this pattern shows up as perfectionism, or extreme self-criticism. The nervous system has learned that making errors threatens our sense of belonging and love. Sign number 2. You feel shocked when others notice or value you. If your needs and emotions were consistently ignored as a child, you may have grown up believing you were invisible. Later in life, when someone remembers something about you, offers genuine praise, or simply notices your presence, it can feel surprising, almost unreal. This disrupts how you understand relationships. Because you weren't consistently acknowledged in childhood, your brain struggles to expect that others will naturally care about you, or keep you in their thoughts. Sign number 3. You avoid conflict. In healthy families, children learn that conflict can be resolved and relationships can be repaired. But in emotionally neglectful homes, conflict may have felt dangerous, or was simply ignored. If arguing meant love could be withdrawn, or your needs were never properly addressed, avoiding conflict became your safest strategy. As you grow older, you may stay silent or suppress your own needs to prevent rejection. Sign number 4. You fear abandonment. Secure attachment develops when caregivers are emotionally consistent and reliable. Without that foundation, a child learns that love is conditional or unstable. In adulthood, this can show up as constant worry that people will leave once they truly see who you are. This fear connects to insecure attachment styles. There are 2 main types. Anxious attachment makes you crave closeness, but constantly fear rejection. You might overthink every interaction or become clingy in relationships. Avoidant attachment does the opposite. You pull away from intimacy to protect yourself from potential hurt, keeping others at arm's length, even when you desperately want connection. Sign number 5. You hoard or struggle to let go of things. Emotional neglect creates a deep sense of scarcity, a belief that there was never enough comfort, security, or love. Some people cope with this by holding on tightly to possessions, fearing they might lose something valuable. Research shows that hoarding behaviors are connected to difficulties with emotional regulation and represent an unconscious attempt to fill the inner emptiness left by unmet childhood needs. Sign number 6. You have difficulty regulating emotions. No one is born knowing how to manage their emotions. Children learn this through co-regulation with their caregivers. For example, when a child is upset, a responsive parent helps soothe them, teaching the brain how to calm down. Without this guidance, stress response systems like the amygdala and prefrontal cortex may not develop strong regulation pathways. Later in life, emotions can feel overwhelming, unpredictable, or simply hard to manage. Sign number 7. You're always overpreparing. In unpredictable households, children never know how caregivers will react. Sometimes supportive, sometimes critical, sometimes completely absent. To cope, they learn to overprepare in order to minimize risks. This becomes a form of hypervigilance, where the brain constantly scans for potential danger. Unfortunately, this hypervigilance can persist into adulthood. Sign number 8. You struggle to trust others. Trust is built through repeated experiences of care and reliability. If caregivers were emotionally unavailable or inconsistent, the child's brain learns to see others as unsafe or unreliable. As an adult, this develops into a core belief that people will eventually disappoint, hurt, or abandon you. Sign number 9. You struggle to know what you want. When your preferences were ignored or dismissed as a child, you learn to suppress them to stay safe. Over time, this erodes your inner compass. As adults, simple questions like, "What do you want?" may bring blankness, leading to indecision or people-pleasing. Sign number 10. You have a tendency to isolate. For children who were dismissed or ignored, withdrawing inward often felt much safer than reaching out. Emotional neglect teaches the child that their needs won't be met, so the nervous system learns that connection feels risky and self-reliance feels safer. Eventually, this coping pattern becomes a tendency to isolate in adulthood.